Hi, I wanted to make this video because I've been thinking. And this time I've been thinking about the benefits of downgrading. So the reason I've been thinking about the benefits of downgrading is because I've been paying more attention to my finances lately as part of my goal to plan ahead for a fantastic retirement. And it's made me realise what a big impact downgrading has had, both in terms of when I might be able to retire and how much money I'll need to maintain my current lifestyle. I've saved a huge amount of money by downgrading things in my life, and I want to share that in the hope of helping other people. So I think even if you don't need to save money, it can still be really satisfying to be able to get what you want in life without paying more than you need to. I'm still hoping to find more opportunities for downgrading in my life, so I'm hoping that this video will bring some more ideas to me too. So what do I mean by downgrading? I guess I mean accepting something of a lower price or a lower specification when there are higher price or higher specification items available to you. So you would choose the lower one intentionally to save money. So there's so many options available to us all the time when we're buying things that it can be really difficult to choose which is the right option for us. I think it can often feel easier and safer to go for the higher specification option rather than trying to learn about any differences with the lower spec option. But there can be a lot of money to be saved by opting for a lower spec item, especially when they can provide everything that you need at a much reduced cost. So I think the more money you're planning to spend, the more value there is in investigating a lower priced option first. And I like to use the money that I save from downgrading to be able to spend extra on upgrading some of the other things in my life where I will notice the difference more. So the biggest thing that in my life that I've downgraded is my house. And it's saved me thousands over the years, maybe even thousands every year. And it's opened up so many other options in my life. I've never lived in a house that's the most expensive I could afford, despite the pressure that there often is to do that. I've always gone at least 20% lower than my budget would allow, and maybe even more than that. I've never liked the idea of tying up all of my income on my house, knowing that it would restrict all of my other options in life. So I know it might sometimes feel a bit of a shame that I'm not living somewhere nicer, but I still have the same options as other people, that I could try earning more money to be able to live somewhere nicer. But if I did, I'd still apply the same guideline of not spending anywhere near the maximum, because I just don't want that sort of stranglehold on my finances. And it's meant that I was able to take longer off work when I had my children, and I've been able to take them on nicer holidays during their childhood than I would otherwise have been able to. And they weren't in the slightest bit bothered about where they lived, when they were younger anyway. So the downgrading of the house has always worked really well for me, and I've applied that same mindset to other big ticket items like cars, phones, TVs, and other household items. I've recently changed my car, and the previous one I had for 10 years and paid $2,000 for it and sold it for $650. So I don't do many miles, so I just didn't see the need to spend anything more than that. It does sometimes make me laugh when I look around a car park and see that my car is by far the oldest in there. But then I think about how much money most of the other people are probably paying each month for their nice car, and then I don't feel so bad. When I was younger, I couldn't afford anything better, but now that I could, I still choose not to because I'd rather save the money for something else. I got 10 years out of my last car and only paid a total of $13.50 for those 10 years. I could have been driving something a lot fancier and maybe been paying 400 or 500 a month for that. So over 10 years, that would have added up to 60,000, which just sounds crazy to me. I paid 1,400 for my new car, and I hope that that one will last me 10 years too and save me another 60,000. It's only really peer pressure, I suppose, that sometimes makes me waver in my decision, because the reality is that I always manage to get where I need to go in relative comfort, so I don't really need to spend anything more than that. So sticking with a downgraded car feels like the right choice for me. If it wasn't safe or reliable, I'd probably change my mind, but I've never had any problems of safety or reliability so far. And then in terms of my phone, for a long time I was in the habit of upgrading every couple of years when the latest model came along. The phone company would encourage me to upgrade, saying that my payments would stay about the same. So it always seemed like a sensible option. And I thought it was important to have the latest phone, just like everyone else. But what I never really factored in was what I was actually using my phone for. And I've always been just a basic phone user, so really I only need a basic phone. And I wasn't using any of the new features that seem to come along with the upgraded phones. So I made the decision a few years ago to stop with the upgrading. I already had a nice phone from the previous upgrades, so instead of taking the next new phone, I switched to a SIM-only deal and saved a lot of money. I even managed to reduce that further, because even the SIM-only deal came with more than I needed. So I was able to shop around for an even more basic one, and it's perfectly fine for what I need. And I really haven't noticed any difference from when I used to upgrade every couple of years. In fact, it's actually easier not having to change to a different phone. So I've saved money and hassle by stopping the upgrades. So it definitely feels like the right decision for me. And when my phone eventually stops working, I'll replace it with another basic one, which will probably be a great price because the phone company will have moved on to the latest model, which probably offers things that I would never have used anyway. I might even buy a second-hand one to save even more money, because so many people get rid of great phones, so the second-hand market is really strong. I don't know how much I've saved by stopping the phone upgrades, but I expect it probably runs into thousands by now, and I still get everything I want from my phone, including really nice photos. So I think those are probably my biggest savings, but I've also opted for cheaper options on TVs, monitors. My laptop is a renewed one from a trusted local supplier. It's quite high spec, but probably about a quarter of the retail price because it wasn't brand new. I've had it for about a year and no problems at all, so that definitely feels like a good saving too. So making those kind of big savings can mean that I sometimes have more money available to spend on other things in life that feel more important, like activities or trips away with family and friends, or nice meals. And I try never to downgrade on those things. So I like to think it's all a balance. I downgrade some options so that I can upgrade others. in the hope that the overall, I'm upgrading my life experience by spending on the things that matter the most to me. So I hope you've taken something useful from this video, but I think that's all for this time. If you have any tips for me about downgrading, I would love to hear them. But for now, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.